Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football here on the Sports History Network. Aside from my podcasting duties, I'm also a sports collector. And as such, I'm very pleased to share the exciting news that the Sports History Network has partnered with Rochester Sports Autographs, the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor in the United States, where you can get deals on over 30,000 autograph sports collectibles. So as a collector, I was very pleased when I visited the site of Rochester Sports Autographs. The massive inventory is easy to search, carefully documented, and visually appealing. The options seem limitless, whether you're looking for an autographed baseball, signed football helmets, or basketball jerseys, among thousands of others. I found everything from a Babe Ruth autograph, a signed football by Dick Butkus, and an autographed Larry Bird basketball jersey. And as a collector, you'll be delighted with the very competitive pricing on JSA authenticated products. Made possible since RSA deals directly with athletes, so there's no extra markup, and the savings are passed on directly to the customer. Perhaps you're looking for an early gift for Mother's Day or Father's Day. Heck, who needs a holiday as an excuse to give a piece of sports history to your loved ones? Or how about yourself? Today seems like a great day to add to your own sports collection, right? RSA even has film, music, and other entertainment autographs on the site, so there's something for everyone. All orders from Rochester Sports Autographs are top quality and shipped to your door with top authentication and a money-back guarantee. And to make sure RSA knows that the Sports History Network sent you, we created a special link for you. All you need to do is head to shoprsa.com/SHN. That's shoprsa.com/SHN to get your own piece of sports history today.
Now it's time to take a sports break, a look at sports history on a daily basis. Hello, my friends of sports history. This is Darren Hayes of the Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your place for all things great in sports history, and welcome to your sports break for this April 3rd edition. Let's make sure that you are aware we have a daily newsletter that comes out absolutely free to join. You'll know everything that's going on in the Pig Pen, including what's happening on this podcast, Pigskin Dispatch's podcast, and both websites, including Orville Mulligan Sports Writer and the Sports History Network. Many of the items that are getting posted on there as well. And, each day you can get that in your email inbox 6:30 a.m. So easy to sign up for. You can go to the show notes of this very podcast or at the top of jerseydispatch.com or pigskinddispatch.com. Now let's talk about some of these great events that's happened on April 3rd. We're covering a lot of them on both websites, pigskinddispatch.com and jerseydispatch.com. And so we'll just touch on a few of these here to tell you about the great happenings of April 3rd in history. Now, on April 3rd, 1966, future Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Tom Seaver signed on with the New York Mets and received an incentive of $50,000 signing bonus for the lucrative salary that he received with that ball club. And it was kind of an interesting thing because it was almost like a lottery for them. They drew names out of a hat to see who would get the rights to get this contract because he was actually signed by the Atlanta Braves farm team Richmond, and he had him under contract, but Atlanta lost the rights to him because of some unprecedented circumstances where they were being fined for some misconduct, a little bit of something they had a violation with, the Atlanta Braves did, so they were not able to sign Tom Seaver for their own major league affiliate, Atlanta Braves. So it came down to the Cleveland Indians, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the New York Mets got to participate, drew the name out of the hat, and Seaver was won in that drawing by the New York Mets. And we know he went on to some great things, Hall of Fame career, including helping the Mets win the 1969 pennant and World Series with that Miracle Mets campaign they had there in the latter half of their season. Now, also in the state, 1997, New York Rangers had their great player, Wayne Gretzky, who previously had played with Edmonton. They defeated the Boston Bruins 5-4. And What was important about this? Well, Wayne Gretzky ended up tallying his 2,700th point of his NHL career. He was 850 points ahead of the legendary number 9 Gordie Howe at that point in time, just to tell you how many points this young man had scored during his brilliant career. We have some Hall of Fame birthdays. Earl Lloyd was born in 1928 on this day. He was a professional basketball trailblazer, and he, in 1950, became the person in professional basketball that broke the color barrier in the NBA. First black player signed, played for the Syracuse Nationals in that 1950 season, and ended up a few years later in 1955 helping them win an NBA championship. He also played with the Detroit Pistons later on in his career. Another birthday is hockey legend Bernie Parent. The Hockey Hall of Fame goalie played for 13 seasons in NHL, Philadelphia Flyers, Boston Bruins, and Toronto Maple Leafs. He won consecutive titles with the Philadelphia's team in 1974, 1975, and he also won the Vezina Trophy and the Conn Smythe Trophy both seasons there for his great play in between the pipes for the Flyers. And also we want to make sure the Boston Bruins star center number 10, Jean Rattel, scored his 1,000th NHL career point April 3rd, 1977. And April 3rd, 1982, the outstanding center of the Buffalo Sabres, Gilbert Perreault, wearing number 11, scored his 1,000th point of his NHL career. Another hockey star, number 66, Mario Lemieux, on April 3rd, 1988, won the NHL scoring title for the 87-88 season, stopping Gretzky's 7-year streak, and Super Mario ended up with 70 goals and 168 points for his post with the Pittsburgh Penguins that year. Now, we also have some great football to talk about. April 3rd, 1926 was the date of the birth of Joe Steffi, the fine guard from the University of Tennessee, and also played from Army 1944 to 1947, College Football Hall of Fame inductee. And April 3rd, 1934 in Macon, Georgia, Jim Parker, he was a stud Ohio State guard from 1954 to 1956. He celebrated his date of birth, played under Coach Woody Hayes and those Ohio State Buckeyes. Now we have the opportunity to take a little jaunt into baseball history, and the great site 80sbaseball.com, run by Jay Daniels, who was a guest on our program just a couple weeks ago, wrote that pretty awesome book on the Suds series. If you haven't checked that episode out yet, make sure you do. Jay Daniels, a brilliant author and avid baseball fan, especially 80s baseball, and he has that site 80sbaseball.com. You have to check it out. But he is letting us share some of his events that he has for this April 3rd. He has some birthday call-outs to Gary Pettis, Tim Cruz, was born in 1961 on this date. Other 80s birthdays include Tim Conroy, played for the Athletics, and Larry Littleton, who also played in the big leagues for quite a few years. Doug Baker, Daryl Jackson have birthdays April 3rd. Marty Clary and Miguel Garcia, who ended up playing for the Angels and the Pittsburgh Pirates later on in his career. 80sbaseball.com site also points out to a big trade on April 3rd, 1987 that took place as the Chicago Cubs traded Dennis Eckersley and Dan Roan to the A's for Brian Gwynn and Mark Leonette and Dave Wilder. Cubs to the A's, big trade there, and Dennis Eckersley is the key component of that trade. Pretty tremendous there. Also, 1984, another trade, a signing. Pittsburgh Pirates signed the great Bob Walk as a free agent that late in April. Spent another 10 years of his career with the Pirates and ended up having some great seasons with them. April 3rd, 1985, the Cleveland Indians signed Doug Jones as a free agent, and he spent a couple seasons in the minor leagues but stuck around the big leagues at the age of 29 and went on to win a bunch more games for those programs. And finally, in 1986 on this date, Phil Niekro signs a free agent deal with the Cleveland Indians. Indians liking to sign some great pitching on April 3rd in the 80s. And that's Jay Daniels and his site, 80sbaseball.com. Make sure you check them out. And all of our sites, vintagehockey.com, as well as the NBA.com and sportsreference.com websites. So we thank all of those great sites and for giving us the inspiration and the information to share with you to make April 3rd a special Sports History Day. And that's your sports break. Tune in tomorrow for some more great sports history. Until then, have a great Sports History Day. Sorry, but my pitching coach just called timeout and he's coming out to the mound. I think I'm going to get yanked for reliever. We'll see you back tomorrow for some more great sports history on Sports Jersey Dispatch Podcast. We invite you to check out our websites, jerseydispatch.com and pigskindispatch.com. Not only see the daily sports history, but to experience the preservation of great events and people that play the games. Find us on Pigskin Dispatch. It's also on social media outlets of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all your daily sports history. Pigskin Dispatch is happy to be associated with the Sports History Network, the sports headquarters of yesteryear, found at sportshistorynetwork.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football, here on the Sports History Network. I'm very pleased to announce that I will be partnering with the Sports History Network to give away 2 copies of my latest book called Bears vs. Cardinals, the NFL's Oldest Rivalry. To enter, just head over to the following link, sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. We hope you'll enjoy the numerous stories in the book, which is largely based on the newly released Dutch Tournament collection at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Dutch was the co-owner of the early Chicago Bears with George Halas and kept correspondence, financial records, and scouting reports, which now allow us to peek into the management of an NFL club during the first few years of the league's existence. Along the way, we'll meet unusual gridiron characters from years gone by, including a quarterback who could throw the ball farther behind his back than he could throwing it forward, a Bears lineman who was such a good tavern fighter that he decided to enter the boxing universe, and a Cardinals halfback who gave up the NFL rushing title by deciding to not show up for his team's final game of the season. And can we forget the time the Al Capone mob interrupted a Bears-Cardinals game? The new book was fun to research, and I hope you will enter our free contest today. Once the winners are selected, we'll be in touch regarding shipping as well as to inscribe the book personally for you. This might make a perfect gift for Mother's or Father's Day, or simply add it to your own personal collection. Once again, enter by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. Thank you and good luck.